Well, guys, we've learned a couple of interesting things about EA's code over the last couple of days, and it's not something that you would expect, really. The title of this video, I think, is EA's coding exposed, and it kind of was exposed in a way, not like necessarily in a bad way. What we learned today really makes you wonder about like what else causes certain attributes to work the way they do, and that's what I want to talk about with you guys today. So we'll get into that very firstly here. We have like a couple of FC26 things to talk about right now. FC25 has been more so kind of same old, really. You know, we had batch 2 into team 3 still, so the same cards or impacts again that we had last week, which some were not happy about. The evolution seemed to be the best part of the game right now, but we'll kind of get into all that in just one sec. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. Thank you guys as always for being here every single day. And I wanted to start out with this. So right here, 100 of 100 SBC storage with no players / no icon SBCs left to do. Quite proud of this, LOL. And you can see in 96 plus, he's got 100 cards, 96 plus, just in the SBC storage, let alone in his club, right? And this has been kind of the complaint of the last about couple of weeks here, is that, yeah, despite all these cards being in packs, hella grind right now, which you can give them credit for because it is important to have some type of unlimited grind right now, right? That's important. But really, they're still holding back, it seems like, on some SBCs and mainly the player SBCs. I don't really know why we don't have massive, crazy player SBCs. The only 5 playstyle plus SBC right now is a card that is Ribery that most of us got in the paid season pass. So kind of strange there, right? And I get to that actually you could argue that that's just better because the people who did not pay the 500k now can get a good Ribery card. So I definitely see that side of the coin here too. But the only thing stopping this from being one of like the best summer FIFAs we've seen in a while is just the fact that they're kind of holding back on player SBCs. And maybe that's just because like how much better can they really get right now? I'm not really sure. I don't know why EA are thinking about how much better can they get when it's July 26th right now. Like, you know, that's so late on in the cycle that who really cares at this point how good these cards are. Just make them crazy. I don't know. This has been the one thing keeping back menu content from being like amazing. It's been really good because we have an unlimited grind right now, but amazing, like the next tier, I feel like we just need some SBCs that are just maybe slightly better than what we've been seeing. And maybe that's me being a little nitpicky. I'm understanding of that too. And the other biggest thing about FC25 right now is that apparently daily knockout tournaments are coming during Team 3, which I guess is maybe some sort of like teaser or preview or something like that for next year's title. I'm guessing they'll just be in the friendlies tab and they'll do it that way, but kind of strange that we're getting somehow DKTs in the middle of this game, or I guess not in the middle, in the way end of this game. But yeah, seems like they're running, I guess, some sort of test as to like see how much we like it or how much is played or something. I'm not sure. But futties players as rewards, and that's coming up soon here. Okay, I mean, that's interesting. But okay, so on to the title of the video. This was quite surprising to me seeing this. This is where EA's coding, I think, you know, we say exposed in the title because it's like, it makes a cool title, right? But it kind of is exposed here. And also, what's the process or thought process behind this, I should say? I'm not really sure. Let me know what you guys think. But right here, this is from FUT Accountant. Apparently, he got like a preview of what this looks like when he went to EA. He says finesse shots outside the box are calculated as 90% long shots and 10% reactions. That's, I guess, what matters most. Then we got finesse shots inside the box are 90% finishing and then 10% reactions once again. He was able to see the code in Vancouver. Pretty cool stuff. And also down here, he also stated that every single shot type used reactions in the final attribute calculation other than power shots. So this entire time, apparently reactions has been a part of finishing. And I'm assuming, does that mean like reactions also influences many other stats in like maybe really small ways, right? But I gotta say, like thinking about stats that revolve around finishing, right? For example, shot power, or for example, curve, right? For finesse shots. I figured curve for finesse shots meant something. Apparently it doesn't mean anything, or at least very little considering these numbers here. Now, I believe shot power has to do with like circle shots, right? These are just finesse shots we're seeing these exact numbers for right here, outside and inside the box. And that maybe does make sense that shot power wouldn't affect that, but the reactions part is very confusing to me. And I shouldn't say confusing. It makes sense to have an all-encompassing stat, I suppose, but I'm just more surprised that reactions has to do with finishing. And what else does reactions have to do with? I think we absolutely need a breakdown on what everything thing does and what each stat does. Like, for example, composure, right? There's no composure stat here. Is it literally just finishing and reactions for finesse shots? Does composure not matter for finesse shots, only circle shots? Does it not matter for shooting and only passing? Like, you know, all these questions we don't really have an answer to. And this only, to me, brings up more questions than answers. So seeing this, I'm more confused than I probably was if I just saw it was, say, 80% finishing, 10% shot power, 10% curve. That makes sense. But this apparently with 10% reactions is weird. And I think we're definitely owed, I guess, a piece of what reactions means. And also that they're using every single shot type other than power shots. So I guess there's no reactions with power shots. I guess, you know, why stop at power shots, I guess. I'm not sure. I like seeing this though. And I think it's better for EA to show us, even if we criticize some of it, than to just not show us at all. So I thought that was very interesting. And of course, 10% reactions is not very much, but just the fact that reactions influences finishing, I wouldn't have expected. And okay, so FUT Police Leaks has apparently like tested this game, and he's been kind of giving us some information about what he thinks about it. And keep in mind, last year FUT Police Leaks did say FC25 is the exact same game. He felt like it was the exact same on release and like let us know that in the summertime last year. So he's not someone who just would be totally EA's you-know-what shoved down the throat. He does say this year it feels a lot more different than any year he's tested, so you know, take that for what you will. But right here he says all the glitches are nerfed. They're not really glitches, they're just like overpowered mechanics, right? L1 speed boost, step over acceleration, first time through ball from bad angles, and then Trivella, even with the play style, we know that one's been nerfed. But he does say here these two, L1 speed boost and step over acceleration, are like way worse than they have been in the past couple of years. So that's good to hear, but obviously the thing with that is that there's gonna be more glitches that people will find, right? More overpowered mechanics. Right here, FUT Police Leaks does say they'll find new glitches. I hope they fix the Enforcer playstyle plus. Right now, it is way too OP, says FUT Police Leaks, who's played the game. And that would not surprise me. I always worry about the new playstyle pluses, or just say new things they add into the game that in general are more overpowered than others. It's been that way in Call of Duty a lot. A new gun comes out, it's the best gun for a month. Like, that happens all the time. I wouldn't be shocked if the Enforcer playstyle plus actually is like insanely overpowered on launch. So keep an eye out for that, because right now I've not just heard him say that, I've heard others say that too, that Enforcer will be like really necessary just because your strikers are so open at the striker position. That was a dumb way to say that, but you know what I'm trying to say. They can shield off the opponents so well. And other things he says here, goalkeeper movement is the same apparently, which I'm not surprised by. It does suck, but I'm not surprised by. Manual offsides are still OP, but attackers react better. I'm okay with manual offside traps being fine still. Like, it's not the end of the world to me. The automatic ones have to go, and he does say here, automatic offside traps are kinda removed. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean that they are removed? Somebody did tell us that they are removed. He says kind of removed, so I don't really know what that means. I guess it means worst case scenario, they are slightly better, but whatever. And last tweet we'll look at from him here is he's replying to somebody who says speed boost is a core mechanic. If they nerf L1 speed boost and step over, the gameplay is going to be insanely defensive. I don't really know about that. And FUT Police League says it's not an if, it is completely destroyed, the L1 speed boost. So it's completely gone. And I think if they just make the game a little bit quicker, like attackers accelerate a little bit faster, then it's not going to be that way. A core mechanic is a speed boost. I don't really know about that one. It's only a core mechanic right now because defensive AI is still pretty damn good, and also your center backs can just catch any attacker. That's not L1 speed boosting. If that's not the case, you don't have to speed boost. So we'll see what that looks like, of course. And then we got this news here. I wanted to show you this because I don't really know quite what to make of this. I don't even know where this fully came from. eafc 25 news says confirmed by EA developer. I don't know where this has been confirmed from. Someone please show it to me. He doesn't usually tweet out bullshit like this, so I'm assuming he is, you know, he's heard this from somewhere, from a literal EA developer, because many of them are on different channels and stuff like that, right? So I'm assuming this is true, but he says EA are planning to add manager icons, confirmed by EA developer, free agents in career mode, not coming this year in FC26, but likely the next year. And I thought the first report I saw of this was that it was only going to be in offline and not in online, which I feel like if they're going to add them, they'll add them in online as well, like Ultimate Team. So I don't know what to make of this. I don't know why they would tell us this if they were going to for sure come out? Like, would they just save that news for like the next cycle? So it's all kind of confusing to me. I wouldn't take this with like too much certainty because I don't know where this even came from yet. If you guys know, please tell me. But anyway, if these were to exist, what would they really do, right? Just give extra chemistry, maybe? Like give a +1 in chemistry to everybody, or help with roles, maybe? Now that roles exist, that might be a good way for them to say, hey, all your players will have at least role pluses with an icon manager, right? Or something like that. That might be a cool way to kind of implement them, but I'm not sure. Do we need icon managers, or do you think it's kind of useless? And last thing here is somehow, some way, if you are close to level 39, because I know that Morrissey's level 40, like there's some guys out there who are like, in the 30s right now, somehow, some way. At level 39 right now, you'll be getting 2 packs if you get there, because as of right now, it's supposed to be a tradable 90x3, and it gives you an untradeable 89x3, or sorry, untradeable 90x3. So if you get somehow to level 39, which I'm sure maybe one of you out there is there, and probably one of you, my guess is one of you out there is at this level, or at least close to it, you might get some compensation. But other than that, that's the compensation talk now. And the last thing here is all the SBCs are objectives coming for Team 3. There's a lot of them, and I think we might be seeing some daily knockout tournament players here because there's just so many, right? So haven't seen Elatoon yet, 97. Raquelme's here. Mateus we saw already, but not seen him yet. Orsolini, Mateo, Trap, Ibarbo, and Doumbia, right? Haven't seen those guys yet. And down here we got more. We got Mukhtar, Francescoli, Dunn is in there, Anthony Edwards is in there, Peck, and random players. But I feel like some are going to be DKT players. But yeah, that's kind of all for the news at the moment right now. Happy to see DKTs coming back in. I'm just kind of surprised that they're coming back in for some reason right now. But okay, let's read some of your comments now. I apologize if this video is like slightly shorter than usual because I'm leaving in a sec. So trying to get to everything we needed to in a decent amount of time today. Let's read some of my charismatic, intelligent subscribers' comments now. We got Jim, who says, I would love it if each promo had at least one player from the leagues outside of the Big Five. And I think this was a question that FUT Accountant actually asked FUT Economist, and he said, keep in mind, this is probably the most like corporate answer you could give, but FUT Accountant asked him like, hey, have you been hearing the fans' criticisms of not giving any players outside the top 5 leagues any promo cards? And he said, yeah, we're looking to do that more next year, basically. Okay, I mean, yeah, you have to wait and see if that'll actually happen, but that was kind of all that the discussion kind of lended itself to. The only way to really find out is by seeing what the promo teams look like next year. And like Jonathan says here, well, people forget that EA works with psychologists. Know what I mean? Yes, I do know what you mean. And it is an important thing to think about, right? Because, of course, they probably consulted with their own psychologists, by the way, on their own payroll. They consulted with them and said, hey, is this strategy good to try and have them come back next year? And they probably went 2 thumbs up. Yes, absolutely. That's always where things can kind of get it feels gross, right? It feels nasty that they're literally talking to people to say, hey, how do we manipulate the wiring in their brain to make them spend more money, like us more, play the game longer, retention. Like that's the reality of probably all gaming right now, but it still feels kind of gross thinking about that. And that's something that's going on undoubtedly right now as we speak with this marketing campaign. And Shaft to 2010, you need 5 teams to play Gauntlet mode. That's the most pay-to-win bullshit I've ever seen. Obviously, it has good rewards. This is the tough thing, is I agree that it can be pay-to-win for sure if players have a ton of, if you have a player who spends money on the game, has a ton of amazing players, that's going to be an advantage for you. However, you do want these like incentives to use different teams. How do you do that without doing that? I don't really know. I don't know the right answer to that. I am slightly more forgiving when it comes to this because we have asked as a community for more ways to use more teams. This is something that forces you to use more teams, and then we're so mad about it. Like, that's difficult. I understand it can be going too much one way or the other, but I think that we just see what it looks like first before we complain too much about it. I think it could be awesome. I think that Gauntlet mode has huge potential. The knockout tournaments obviously always do. We know they're going to be popular, but the Gauntlet mode does too, and I want to see what that looks like, and I think it's going to be just fun. If it's repeatable, especially, like, that sounds like a lot of fun using different players. You have to pretty much use 5 different teams. Like, that sounds like fun. Like, that just sounds like fun to me. And if it comes out and it's dog shit, then we will call it dog shit, but I think we should wait and see first. But guys, thank you all for being here. Appreciate you all so much, and I love you all. So, peace.